Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I've got two Hamilton Khaki Kings that I want to share with you. The one here on the left, this is Random Rob's version. The one that I'm borrowing from him. This is the new Powermatic H40 caliber with the 80 hours of power reserve. And the one on the right is one that I went out and bought myself. This is the classic version, non-Powermatic. This has the classic ETA 2824-2 in it. And I just thought it would be really fun to show the two side by side and talk about the differences between the movements and the watches. I know that Hamilton is kind of giving the Powermatic treatment to the majority of their automatic movements in their lineup. So I thought it would be fun to show the two side by side and just talk about the pros and cons to each one. So there's really just three differences. I think the biggest one is just going to be the beat frequency. So if you look at the seconds hand on both watches, you can see there is a noticeable difference in the smoothness of the sweep. The Powermatic version, the one on the left, this has a 3 Hertz beat frequency. So that seconds hand moves 6 times every second. The one here on the right, the classic version, has a 4 Hertz beat frequency, or it moves 8 times every second. And so just showing the two side by side, I think you can really see the difference. The smoother sweep, I personally much prefer. I think it looks cleaner, especially with a long seconds hand that reaches to the outer more sections of that dial. I think it looks much better. So win for the classic ETA there. So the next difference is going to be on the balance wheel. If we take a look at the movements, the one on the right, the classic version, you can see visible regulating pins. This is a standard ETA 2824-2. And I'm getting around +3, +4 seconds a day accuracy there. And if you contrast it to the new Powermatic version, you can see there are no visible regulating pins. And ETA has changed this balance wheel into a free-sprung balance system. And I think that's a really smart move on their part. By removing the regulating pins, you're removing one of the factors that affect isochronism, or the watch being in perfect synchronization or harmony. So theoretically, you should be getting a more accurate movement with the free-sprung balance system without the regulating pins. So I do prefer that. I think it is a win for the Powermatic version. And if you look on the forums and different watch groups, you'll notice a trend that the new Powermatics are actually getting very good accuracy out of the box. So that does seem to be an upgrade that's making a noticeable difference. I'm getting about +3, also +4 seconds per day on this version. So mine two are pretty comparable, but on the whole, the new Powermatics seem to be getting better accuracy out of the box. The last difference is going to be power reserve. Now, the new version boasts 80 hours of power reserve, which is over 3 days. That is pretty impressive. And my classic version has a 38-hour power reserve, which is very standard for the 2824. I don't think that there is a clear winner here. I think it's a draw. And simply for preference, personal preference, I wear my automatic movements frequently enough to where power reserve just isn't an issue for me. I don't have that many automatic watches. However, if you have a fairly large collection and you don't get to each watch in rotation, every 3 days or so, you could prefer the longer power reserve. So that's why I'm going to say that that's a draw there. Now, if we just look at the watches, there are a couple aesthetic differences. The first one's on the dial. You can see that there is no Swiss-made designation on the classic version down there at the 6 o'clock position, while the new H40 version does have that, and it is breaking up that seconds track. The old version still is a Swiss-made watch. It's just not printed there on the dial. The last differences are going to be on the case back here. If we look at the rotors, you can see the classic version has a fully branded rotor, and the Powermatic version has a relief cutout within that rotor of the H logo. And then the last thing is going to be text. So there is some engraving around that display case back. My classic version has a more full engraving, goes all the way around that display case back, while the H40 version just has occasional text specs engraved there with some more negative space. Other than that, the watches are pretty much exactly the same bracelet, the same bezel, same dial. Even the lume application is exactly the same. The main differences really are just going to be in the movement and those very few minor aesthetic things. Which one do I think is better? Which one would I prefer? I don't have a clear answer for you guys. I think that you're going to have to make that call on your own. If you prefer the smoother sweep, I would definitely go for the classic version. That 4 hertz frequency, that 28,800 BPH, I think definitely looks nicer. If you're into tech specs and accuracy, I think the free-sprung balance system is the way to go, even if you are sacrificing with that 3 hertz frequency. So that's what I would say. I do think that the classic version, the one that I have, could become more collectible one day. I think people really will prefer the smoother sweep, and you can't buy them from Hamilton anymore. You have to go on the secondary market to pick one up. So as they become more rare, I think they'll be more sought after, and they could be more collectible in the future. But really good watches, both of them. I think you can't really go wrong either way. And if you're considering purchasing one, just go for the version that has more of the things that you enjoy, because they both have pros and cons. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that casual look at the two movements, the Powermatic versus the Classic. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.